But nothing in the world is absolute. Now I have a way to help you escape. Have a strong power. But we'll have to go through the pain of life is not equal to death. Are you willing to? 49 left the AI. End words. Most likely, he looked at the leader again. On the hand appeared the old jade said, "This is a magical medium of the friction class. Not like other methods. It's a training exercise. Does not require endowment and practice vi. Cultivators have only one point. The process of cultivation will make the living not equal to death, living like hell. More so once you start practicing. It won't stop. If the spirit completely destroys all disobedience." Most likely, the leader was immediately afraid. First time, he heard that kind of scary martial arts. Not because of the lost. Because of the increased protection of peanuts. He has to be strong. Think for a moment. He received the treasure from the strongest hand. No Sao. As long as we become stronger, we will suffer. As he said, he tightened his hands even more. Most likely I saw him take it. He knows that his loyalty to the tribe will not. Afraid to sacrifice your life. He knows the dangers of this system. Voice a reminder. Although training into power may be equivalent to the high order of the French, but practicing this technique, you will not imagine. Because it hurts. There are a lot of magicians who don't dare touch it. Maybe in the process of training, you will suffer to the point of paralysis. You will eventually die, so think carefully. When he heard this, the leader put on his ear. In my eyes there's anguish. Probably, brother. My father is the most miserable in this world. You see the dead man in front of you. But nothing can be done. Now my only wish. It's to keep the lady and the young lady safe. Big brother, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will definitely not regret it. In the most secure of hearts cannot shake. He nodded slightly in his eyes with respect. I hope we come back next time. You will see that he is strong. Not your body. Don't you worry, I don't die so easily. My brother returned quickly. The governor laughed for an hour. Wet eyes parting the strongest. Assignment done. Most likely human again to dominate and lost Van High out. Then to drag the universe inside. If you have to go, you must arrange for peace of mind. Just got in the door. I saw the toughest guy standing there. I can feel people laughing and laughing. Miss, what have I asked you to do? The red-faced woman nodded. I'm sure they told us to find 600 kids. About 16 years old. I've had enough. They are all waiting for the teacher. Probably the most unexpected, so you can understand how it works. She glanced at her silently nodding. Because you know I will teach them. The family laughed for an hour. Confidently, as I understand you. You are not good enough to pity these children. So I guess, you definitely want to nurture them. Become the guardian of the lost. So tell me to bring them back. I think it is most likely to be cold-hearted. He used to be kind enough to accept someone. The result is still betrayed. The hearts of the polytheists, a life betrayed. Of course he won't go down that same road again. Thought. In his hands appeared a jewel that gave Cho Drag Vu family. She said, "This is a French medium. Injection decision. You take the practice, then choose a trusted person to pass it on. Haunting team organization. Silently protect the family. Let's train those 600 kids first. Do it the way I taught you. Lower staff and guards on a daily basis. Middle-class payrolls and obsessive team of people. And superior, strong will for him by secret training. You convey my words. He will understand how to do it." Bewildered reception of the jewel in the hand. The best part is looking at him. "Why don't you go to work yourself?" Most likely, when you ask, you will honestly answer, "I'm ready to leave." Hear what he says. The family feels amazed. Everything was fine, but he chose to leave. She wondered why. Most likely, she asked, shaking her head. Give her a reason to tell her. After listening to the dance, there was a bit of a loss. She doesn't want him to go, but she knows he is a cruel man. If he's decided that no AI can get in the way. She nodded and decided to leave. But before she left, she could leave a kiss. On the top left a sentence. "I will wait for you," and then run away. Most likely the world is once again stunned before such a situation. Before that, it's called divergence. Now it's the dance floor. Not without a question. You guys all like that. Except 50,000 animals. After you have arranged everything, the worst of the world finally left. The next thing is to figure out what route he should take. From the past to the present, the beast is indispensable. In the enhancement of monastic practice vibe, the hypocrites themselves use it as a spiritual grace. The devil uses it to become a monster. So where to set foot first? Probably the most determined is 10,000 animals. However, this place must pass through the territory of Yumin Cup. So you have to be careful. Right now, most likely, they set foot in the city. He was wearing a black coat, covering the whole person, sending out a murky atmosphere. Just arrived at the city gate, he was stopped by two guards. Not your passport. Probably not panicked. Calmly put your hand into the crochet out a bumper jewel. There is a sign engraved on the needle. The two guards looked at Kim and nodded. Make the most secure way into the city. See them give way. Probably the fastest way to get in. There was a devilish smile in her mouth. Yumin Cup set curfew. Maybe there is a way to get into the city. Because in order to find the vet, he decided to go to 10,000 animals. However, this place must pass through the territory of Yumin Cup. So now he has disguised himself to enter the city. If you reveal your identity, with the hatred of Y and Yumin Cup, he will definitely be in danger. Just as he's thinking about the next direction, there's a body coming up to his chest. Most likely, Bao. Look at the other person's appearance. I think this is food. Stuck for a while, trying to push people out. Then the man opened his mouth. Please don't speak up. Hear someone begging. He gripped his eyebrows but did not push the man out. Silently hide for others. At this moment, a group of soldiers is the scenery. Running to find someone. When they can't find them, they leave. Waiting for the soldiers to leave. What finally popped out of my head? Look around a little. He said, a pat on the chest. I'm afraid of dying and I can't run. This CA, thank you. Most probably he didn't say a single glance at him. Quick leg splits, who goes forward? The current situation is quite dangerous. It is important to avoid injury to the body. The bitch is still buzzing next to me. You're from outside the city, aren't you? Can you take me out? Please. I can't stand it, he said coldly. If you want, go yourself. There's no need to prove it outside the city. Peeing the time medicine refused. The embarrassed nose said. He didn't hide anything, he stole their stuff. If we let them know, we're done. Could you please take me out? Probably not without laughing for an hour. Exposing the person in front, 10 to 56 years old, is already a 4-star gas capacitor. Not so weak at your age. Ordinary people will not get this vi. You claim to be a beggar. Even if you are telling the truth, why should I help you? We don't get any benefit either. He said, go straight ahead. Hear this word. I feel like I can't fool anymore. Stop pretending to be miserable. In my head, turning to ask, you want to go to the mountain range, right? He talked about thousands of animals. Most probably decided to stop. He turned to look at him, waiting for him to continue. The most sure thing is to finally stop. Urinating the vague joy. Laughing immediately, I want to go to the mountain. You have to wait another 3 months. You can't go now. Probably most heard him. I have to wait 3 months. You can go to thousands of animals. Doubt or speak for Sao. Pissing the young proud eyebrows. He stood in front of the most powerful man. Let me tell you. Thousands of animals are about to have diamonds. So, 3 this month you Min Cup will blockade thousands of animals Sunvang. Let no one in. Let's trade. If you will take me out of the city, I will take you to the mountain by the way. Until then, Diamond Save SA came out. We can take the opportunity to steal some. I heard him talk about diamonds. Most likely, I can't help but be startled. Diamond Saver SA. It's called a 5-level spiritual warrior. Rare is more important than. It's very compatible with your blood destiny. If you use it to train your body. Even if the Master of Heaven attacks. There's no need to be afraid. Something so important. The glass will be carefully guarded. Don't let anyone touch you. If there is a guide, your success rate is also higher. So he can do business with this little thing. Use him to take him into the wild. Think about here. Most likely, they decided to cooperate with the. In front of this, he nods his head to deliver. I saw that he agreed. Overjoyed. He jumps in front of me laughing. Ha ha, good. We can finally get out. That's right, my brother is a cowboy. Most likely, he stopped answering the question. When I say this name, I am a little nervous. You and your brother both know his name. With the hatred of Y and you Min Cup. As long as they know they've come to this place, they will definitely come to kill him. No matter who will believe it. You remember, like, share and subscribe to our channel to support us. Below are to QR codes Momo and Vietcombank. I want to support you in more good episodes. You're sticky. You can ask for your favorite series. We'll pin everything to thank you. 51. He is my man. Right when peeing the surest thing into an alley. Suddenly a group of people appeared. The leader turned to urinate and shouted, "Stop messing around enough not to come back. I can hear people coming. To push the unconscious back. I want you to save me. I can't stand to hide behind my back." Probably the most. Immediately loud. "This is a family affair. If you don't want any trouble, please stay away." Most likely, look at the people in front of you. They all have the power of the guru. Tidy clothes. It's definitely not an ordinary house. But he said he came from the forest. Probably not out of surprise. The family in Thanmin City is the first in the world. There is a celestial master sitting in town. But Yumin City is owned by Yumin Cup. It's very secretive. I'm just a guy in the family who doesn't really care. He looked down at what he was praying for. Probably not without laughing for an hour. Put your hand on him to your chest. The man on the side saw him hugging the urinal. In fear for an hour. "Boy, what are you doing?" Most likely, he was angry and didn't notice. Casually say, "From now on he is my man. If you want to touch him, you have to come through my door." Hear this word. The more angry people appear on their faces. The angry look is absurd. Before coming to Thanmin City, you didn't investigate. Let's see who we are. Why do you dare to sin? Most likely, they laughed. Of course we have probed. Real weather out. Just a dog of Yumin Cup in Thanmin City. Maybe Lao Tzu came to 10,000 animals. I don't care about the animals there. Pay attention to a dog. But what's in my heart? His chest was suddenly angry. Push the worst of the world out loud. Say it like that. Probably the most astounding. I looked at him angry. He didn't understand that he was clearly angry for him. But he still has a face. And when I'm most likely upset. The leader over there raised his voice. You didn't catch it. A group of guards behind him immediately stepped forward. Assault towards the most evil. Look at this situation. He didn't even notice a cold laugh. They're only going to the 6th-dimensional atmosphere. It can't hurt to why. He looks with contempt and pours his lips not backward and not forward. Towards the guards with a red light. The middle class, the blood technicalities, sometimes hit out. This move just came out. He hit a guard standing near the Japanese. The guard immediately fell to the ground. Blood spurts up, explodes, spits out a sip of fresh blood. Then one chief hit raw. A group of guards immediately fell. No more consciousness. At this point the head of the Kier is finally afraid. Roll your eyes and look. The person in front of him is 8. But in the face of a bunch of gladiators. Without fear. It also wipes out the whole thing. He just doesn't understand. Probably the most. Training is the blood of the leader directly attacking. Blood vessels. One leader can crush 5 of his opponent's organs. The leader is over there. Look at this. The face stops. Not only him. The strongest thing in the back is the back. No less amazing. He didn't expect it to be so bad. The man bit his lip. Take a step forward. The most obvious way to speak, young man. A little bit of bravery to talk extravagantly. To collect us today. Master of the arts. Most likely, he would frown casually. You are the Lord of the Rings. Integrated, the best way to tell him his identity. The color of the hair is right. Are you afraid? Probably most heard him. Smiling, shaking your head is not afraid of trouble. If you have been guilty, then let all of you be silent here forever. As I said, you should take a step forward immediately. In his eyes flashed close. Carry the pressure towards the integration. Makes him a little nervous. He did not expect 1,000 times. The worst thing this time was stronger than last time. He's the one who feels the cold. It makes him angry. There's no sound. The most powerful man knocked down. But the police did not dare to wait. Give them a right to fight back. High-end martial arts. Feng Hongbuk. Most likely, he wants to take action. A smirk of contempt. Make a decision in your hand. A flash of red light suddenly flashed. Towards integration, straight into his body. At this point the area immediately immobilized. The trick also disappeared. Spitting out a sip of blood. It scares him. The worst of them came right in front of him. The face rose up close to the young master. Don't worry. After you die, I will send your servant down to be your friend. There will be no survivors. At least in 3 months. I don't expect to be chased all over the mountain. So let this become a case. No clue. As I said, I'm sure it's the best. One wants to break his bones. I heard the sound of my teeth crumbling. I had a vague sense of death just now. The way he is so close, except for the panic, there's a bit of fascination. Adherence 50 to high trick scenario Jeng. At the most probable moment, the lake, to crush the neck bone of the rectum. The one behind you is afraid. His eyes fluttered, his hands stopped. Don't kill him. I don't want them to die. But most people don't pay attention to him. Laughing too late. They are not just your enemies now, but also my enemy. I will not let him survive. The strongest hand ever laid on the reins immediately tightened, made him make a loud cry and roll his eyes in fear. He still does not stop. The clock is in a hurry. So fast that the tears on her face flowed out. Towards the surest side, screaming loudly. If you don't release, I will not lead you to 1,000 animals. Most probably immediately frowned and did not understand. With wise way of doing it, just be the enemy. There is only one way to die. They will not let them survive. The man in front of me is so honest. Not just love, still shed tears because they. Is he too cruel, or is he too honest? If you think about it, Ra is also lazy to think. Immediately drop your hand and fall on the ground. On the hand of the executioner, call your blood back. Indifferently shrugs his shoulders towards the urinal. Wipe the tears from his face, he said. You didn't notice what I was paying attention to. Guide me. Then I will take you out of the city. Look at the terrorist in front of you. It was as if he understood that he had finally met. What kind of person is afraid of you? You are the evil one. Most likely, after listening, I refused to give an opinion. Smiling, I am the bad guy. In this world, good people go to hell. Only the bad guys are qualified to survive. What I saw, he admitted. There's no way to refute it. Put your hands on the tears left on your face. Take him to thousands of animals. After a while, an old man walked into the alley. Seeing the tragedy in front of you is terrifying. Look again at the area of fear. I immediately came to ask you why. Who hurt you this way? No matter how much he asks, the body just keeps its shivering form. The soul doesn't make a sound. The old man was immediately nervous. In his memory, a normal person is always brave. You can hit a gas simulator. Ate in fear to this extent. How did the master finally meet the master? But even if it's the one in Thanmin City who's guilty, there's no way of life. At the same time, most likely, the whore went to the forest. See another one. The real guards are fake. The plot line up. With real power now. Even if there are ghosts in your blood. Getting in is not difficult. I want to go in, but oh, one knows. I am most likely to remember the one next door. Speak up and ask him. Stop talking about that secret path. I still have a look of fear right now. Shivering and stuttering, say you. Follow me. Most likely, I saw a snail. Still not stopping to shiver. It's amazing. You can be so shy. It's been so long, the tears in my eyes are still there. Not much of anything. You should just do your job. After a while, take the most solid lead. Follow the small path. At one point I saw a tunnel behind the tree. Point to it is this place. I used to hide Father Theo Caca up the mountain to play. Most probably look at the path in front of you. Have a little thought. It's very discreet here. If there's no indigenous guide, definitely can't find it. He nods his head to the cottage and stops talking. You come down before me. He stopped wanting him to follow him. A little scared. But remember the feeling. His sense of terror did not voluntarily enter. Like right now. There's a low bass in the back. Stop, high stop. Suddenly back. Most definitely look where the sound is coming from. There came an old man. A moment of surprise. Who comes with the power is the top scene. Acceptance of 53 households subject to Ra. Look at the people coming. The most obvious is his identity. Turn to the other person. Maybe you are the master of the 1,000-year-old. It is the best way to say it. Nod in appreciation. Not too much to remember the state of affairs. He said NDTOIs. That's why my son likes it. It was your son who hurt you. Most likely, I heard him mention it. They seem to understand. When he decided to release the person who had thought of this situation. However, he still smiled and said yes. He wants to take my people. I didn't take his life. He's a good man. Long immediately became angry with the accused. Eyes full of intent towards the most universal. And then look at the back. That's what people look at. Immediately nervous, the strongest hand hiding behind his back. Right now. A cry echoed behind the snow dragon. Then a photo of Lao came. When I saw the small thing, I laughed. What did my father say? Fish is definitely here for you to take her back. Teen Kier laughing. I don't care if there are people here. A circuit that runs to the side of the umbilical cord. But as soon as he came, most likely his hand grabbed his neck. Makes him breathless. I realized there was someone else now. But too late, he was caught. Long stood there watching this situation. He was afraid he didn't want this boy to meet the tragedy as the rains. What do you want to do? At last, the 1,000-year-old is clear. Only with 2 Vi gas capacitor. There are 5 of them in front of you. How could he hurt his son? He trained all of them in the family's skillful manner. But this person looked at me. I know I've been through a storm of blood. Fierce, cruel. So his son is not his opponent. The best way to hear him ask. Look at teenager in hand. He smiled with an evil smile and gathered 5 weights. I'm sure this guy is a 2-year-old, right? When you hear that, you raise your voice. What do you want to do? Release him or I will not forgive you. The most likely to hear this is laughing. Your hand is tighter than you can forgive me. I will not forgive you. No matter what hatred you have against your brother. Now he is a man. I hope you can stop. Or you're waiting to pick up the body. Let your son go. Tens of thousands of years have not yet spoken. Pissing on the back. Most likely I was in a hurry. Don't kill him. I am most likely to look at him again. Please, for the enemy. Finally feel bothered. What kind of person he picked up? For the enemy, it is always a form of death. It is a miracle that he has lived to this day. Long saw this scene in his eyes. He is still determined to take revenge. Reins towards. Most likely, ask your son what his name is. Probably the most smiling. They are not afraid of revenge from the person in front of them. He is currently alone. There's no one involved. So the registration is not okay. I thought, I'm alone. Not afraid of the Avenger. I am not afraid to let people know for sure. I can hear the name. I just want to say something that is sure. You have to protect her today, right? Most likely, the cold for an hour. He is a man of. Of course we protect to the end. Then we bet you. Let my son go back to you. I will not follow her anymore. The strongest of eyes thought for a moment. The man in front of him is just a dead end. He has a ghost in his hand. With your blood, God's people can also act. Let's not talk about a plot. Thought and let go. He threw it to the side of the mountain. My son is not afraid to speak. He looked at her comfortably and let her go back. Not out of question. I want to kill him. You can't stop him. Most likely, a laugh. I heard that in Sanskrit. I was angry and cold and talking crazy. Next move. Withdraw the words of Sanskrit long immediately. Fast forward to the strongest. Great atmosphere creates great pressure. But most probably not panicked. A road also comes. In the hands appeared lunar wheel. Attack towards the 1,000-long area. Long Man looked at the object in his hand. Probably the most relentless terror. Of course, he knows these are the three things. But he didn't expect it 1,000 times. It could be on the hand. It emits such power. Most likely, he was a little silly. Laughed the devil. Next, take your blood out. Into the body of 10,000 long. He immediately flew out. The worst of all, I won immediately. 50 for 2 defensive products tomorrow. But right now, there's a mutation. I can only see around the snow, covered in a pale yellow glow. He was immediately shot back. Not out of fear. The worst thing to observe is 10,000 long. Realize what it is. Muttered to defensive magic words. He understands now because a second ago he could not retaliate. The enemy has to protective ghost products. His blood cannot hurt him. So next he can only use the lunar wheel. Use Mabao to Mabao. At the same time, the face of Sanskrit Long is also relentless. 1,000 times he did not expect it. The power of his plot. And yet, when we're dealing with atmospheric condensation, 5 that almost again fall into the underworld. This is the first time he saw a man with only the power of air conditioning. When confronted with the plot, the wind is not afraid. Calm down and fight. I can't help but swear for an hour. This boy is a monster. Next to Sanskrit Long Road is high trick scenes. We definitely can't lose the gas station. If not, his face will be gone. He must strike first to gain the upper hand. In his hands he began to gather strength. Around the body gives off a pale yellow light. Stopped for a while. I'm sure the world finally feels it. Long wanted to play. Hurry up and shout the second trick. Long seen. Most likely to attack again. Scared of the whole business. But very quickly he calmed down. Probably the most. Only the lunar wheel can create menace. So as long as he gets rid of it, he couldn't stop his 10 tricks. He thought he would act quickly. Hands towards the evil moon wheel. 1,000 times he did not expect the person in front of him. Speed is too fast. He's completely inaccessible. He was pushed back towards Sanskrit Long. It's amazing the power of the person in front of you. Most likely, there's only natural gas. You can force him to this point. After all, who is strong, who is weak in this battle is still unknown. Right now, the snow could get its breath back. But the battle is not over. Looking forward to 10,000 Long La Big Father, he said he had 10 points. It's not that he made 10 moves. If you want to beat him to death, go ahead. The word of the forest. The lake shattered the calm face of the 1,000 Long Weather. Hate can't kill him. He didn't say anything, and no one thought he was dumb. Fan Long is suffering from a lunar cycle. In the strongest hand, hold back. I can't do it. The best way to get out into the street. The strange curve is coming again. But this time he didn't use the moon wheel. Make the 1,000-year-old a little wary. He shouted out a low-class martial arts. Metaphor imagination speed booster. Blinking closer to 10,000 Long Weather, but he doesn't see very well. Body image in front of you. A twinkling light came to cut across the hand.